So I'm curious your take on in terms of scale of anxiety versus panic attacks, and just talk to me about that.
Well, I lived in San Francisco for much of my life, so I'm going to use the Richter scale as an analogy. Anxiety might be very low on the Richter scale, right? A number one or half or something like that. And a full blown panic attack is all the way on the other side of the spectrum. It's a 7.7 on the Richter scale. And each number is an exponential increase in terms of, feelings and intensity. So there's a big difference, and yes, they are related. Um, I would say, actually, you've touched on something that's very common with a lot of women, especially in midlife when we're juggling so many responsibilities. Um, there is a secret hidden cause of most panic attacks, and you said it exactly because that is a fried nervous system. And so when we say the nervous system, I'm talking about the automatic nervous system. And that's responsible for all of our involuntary functions of the body, everything from heartbeat, breathing, to digestion. And when your nervous system is out of balance, we're basically living in fight or flight. And that means that the rest and digest side isn't working properly. When our nervous system is in balance, we're able to easily reset. We're not sort of just what you said, living on the edge. But when your nervous system is fried and it's out of balance, then we are more reactive. And it doesn't take much to kind of push you over the edge.
Yeah.
So that's the simple explanation for why that was occurring.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I guess what got me really interested in having this conversation with you was kind of this aha moment of the statistic that you shared, and it's 1 in 5 midlife women have
Mm-hmm.
these issues.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of bonkers, right? I mean, that means, you look around at your friend group, like one of you's struggling at least.
Right. Right. And it's
So,
also,
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's also something a lot of people probably don't want to talk about. So you might not even be aware.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. It doesn't have to be, but it feels that way. It
Mm-hmm.
feels that way for whatever reason. I remember the first time I told a friend about that I was like, I attribute it to like maybe like some perimenopausal symptoms, and I just kind of brushed it off as that. And she
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like blank stare, looked at like, what? You
Mm.
think, and so then I kind of dropped the subject because I didn't really, I was like, okay, I don't, maybe we're not gonna have this conversation. And so I think part of this is, for me, is a wake up call to say, let's have these conversations.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, a lot of people maybe feel some sense of shame, not being able to handle it. Sometimes they might feel like they're letting other people in their life down by struggling with this. They want to be able to show up as their best selves, but you can't because your body is not coping. You're not in
Yeah.
you're not in a balanced place. And unfortunately, it can be very difficult for people in your life who haven't experienced a panic attack to understand, because obviously if you've never gone through it yourself, how could you understand? And then the other issue is a lot of women don't know where to go to get help. And so many of them actually end up in the ER. I found another statistic recently that more than 1.25 people end up in the ER every year due to anxiety symptoms. And typically, the majority of them, about 70%, are referred back to their primary care physicians. And about a quarter of them might have a medical procedure, or they're given some really intense drugs like benzodiazepines, which are highly addictive, have really intense side effects and risk of overdose. So those solutions are not cutting it. And I think, as in my case, a lot of people just don't know where to start to get help.